episode 181 of the Hunting Party Podcast. This is Euripides from WoW Insider out DPS and the Call to Auction podcast.
And I'm Darkbrew from thebrewhall.com and the Brewhall on Twitter.
And this is Frostheim from Frostheim WHU on Twitter.
And I'm Molly Sonder from the Sad Hunting Party Podcast.
All right, and today is Saturday, August the 10th, 2013. A sad day indeed. Well, it depends on how you feel about Frostheim weather, but we're counting it as a sad. We're kind of bipolar on this whole thing, to be quite honest with you. Like one moment we're like, hey, he's gone, and then we're like, oh, he's gone. Well, if you want to participate in the chat room, I believe it is still functioning despite the technical difficulties that we had just a few minutes ago. So just create a cool username and start chatting away. And you want to join in the conversation today and send Frost your best wishes and whatever else you want to do.
And speaking of the live chat room, we are joined today in the live chat room by Alderana, Asterek, woo, there's a lot of people here, I can't scroll that way. Bad Language, Bella, BM Jagger, Cab, John, Elapide, Flupau, Graviscore, Githa, Gobo, Guy from Satur, Haraz, Habtor, Iggy Hunt, Immortal Scott, JC Sway, Jessica Chaos, Keldul, Ligerwolf, Lirana, McPherson, Mib671IN1, Mib6ZBGEE, Mib AR2OGG, Mib1M4, Auxander, Premox, Slugslinger, Speedy, Spezrum, Steerheart, Talaron Will, Vagar, Verg, Warvinny, Voost, Warpheus, and as always, by your lovely moderator, Ollie Sonder. If you have a question for the hosts, or just something you want to hear us talk about or reminisce on, please send it in a private message to Ollie Sonder, and Ollie Sonder will be ranking your questions and, in fact, deciding which ones get asked and which ones don't get asked based on your favorite Frostheim memory for this, the last Hunting Party podcast with Frostheim as a co-host.
Bonus points if your favorite Frostheim memory is the last.
So,
hold on. The Hunting Party podcast should probably welcome Michele Morrow to the show. We haven't
done that yet or
told anybody that she's here. She's been sitting there waiting to talk.
No, I'm drinking.
Oh, okay then.
Okay, so it's worth noting that we are, once again, playing the Hunting Party podcast drinking game for this show, created by Boz Animal, and specifically we are playing version 2. If you want to know the rules of the game, you can go to warcrafthuntersunion.com. Right there on the front page is the rules. There are 2 versions. There's a version for the listeners to play, and a separate version for the hosts. So different things trigger drinks for hosts versus listeners. But I thought I would go over the host version because I do believe we have to take a few drinks already.
Well, I was thinking about that. We should probably have started after we did the intro.
No.
Really fair otherwise.
No. Well, okay, so we have to drink whenever a host screws up / misses their lines and or is reminded by a co-host, which, hey, we actually got through the intro on that. Whenever show host is interrupted by real life for any reason, such as kids, internet connection, girlfriend, fire. Whenever a listener uses the word viable or optimal in their question. Whenever a listener asks a question easily answered in the WHU guides. Whenever a listener username is read that pokes fun at a show host, hey, I think we got away with that one. Whenever a question or reader email is answered by the chat room rather than the host. Once, if the show ends on time, no danger there.
Nope.
Once, if you clear the mailbox of reader questions within the regular show time, I think that's also unlikely. If all of the show hosts attend, drink.
Although technically Arth is, sort of a host of the show. No. He is not here, so I mean.
He is an occasional. He's not an official host. There are 3 official show hosts.
Good point. There you go. All right.
Well, there you go. So 1 drink down, and also I think I remember hearing somewhere that we're not recommending hard alcohol for this because you're going to be drinking a fair bit.
We'll see. Where am I? So, if all the show hosts remain connected until the break, we haven't had breaks in a while.
I know, exactly. I don't know when we stopped doing that.
And if all the show hosts remain connected from intro to outro.
Ah.
And you have to down an entire glass if a news announcement includes an in-game item, NPC, or achievement named after a Hunter community member, if a real-life injury is sustained by a show host during the show, and if you realize that the show is not being recorded.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh.
We don't have to worry about that last one anyway. That's
Yeah, that's, by the way, why they don't let me do this anymore.
Indeed. And it is also worth noting that we are gathering in-game on the Ice Crown server. We are currently in Keranos. We're going to hang out here for a little bit, and then we're going to begin our march to Loch Modan and to the Stone Rot Dam.
Dude, you guys, I need a gun. Currently, my Alliance Hunter has a sword and an axe equipped.
Oh,
awesome.
It's been a while
What
since
is
you
going
played that.
on?
What the hell is wrong with you?
I don't know, but this is the greatest way to start the day.
You are retro.
I
Bring
need
it.
a gun. Nice.
I'm tanking. I'm so fucking tanking at level 24. Bring it on.
Not your pet, you.
And by the
Me.
way, okay, the rules that he read out were for the hosts. Now, for the listeners, we have a few different rules. I don't want to read the whole list again, so you just have to remember. I'll just say, if Alexander speaks for any reason, you have to drink once. Oh, that's twice now. I heard her mumble something before, and she talked in the intro.
Well, okay, the once category means this is only triggered a maximum of once per show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's separate
I
from
thought
the
it was,
whenever. You clearly didn't read the rules.
I didn't read up. Yeah, you're right. I didn't read enough of them. Okay, so hold on. What other rules are there here? If Frostheim makes somebody notably uncomfortable, if I'm accused of having inappropriate feelings towards feral druids, if anyone refers to the show notes during the show, have we done that yet? No, we haven't.
Not yet.
Not today, I don't think.
And the every drink, you have to drink whenever a host screws up, and okay, that's the same. Whenever a host complains about Hunter PvP, whenever a question regarding secondary stats is asked and answered, whenever a host, except for Dark Brew, says Dark Brew Lager, and whenever a technical issue of any type occurs. Oh, good. Well,
have we had technical issues.
Yeah, we did. It was not good. It was not pretty.
12 minutes late. It's not our fault, but it's Google. They're just like, hey, we want you to really pay attention to us for about 15 minutes, and we're also going to screw up some of your embed codes. The point is, that's a technical issue, so everybody who is playing the drinking game should be taking a sip.
Yeah, I have to say, I think it's particularly evil the way Buzz Animal wrote version 2 of the rules so that the listeners can screw over the hosts and the hosts can screw over the listeners.
Well, that's the whole point. That's part of what made the game so entertaining for me. It was just sitting there saying things and realizing halfway through that it was going to make people drink, and then deciding to go for broke and see if I can mix another one in there.
Well, fair enough. Well, since this is the Hunting Party podcast, do we have any Hunter news this week?
I don't think so.
No, there's no news. Not that we were planning to talk about. I think there are a few updates here or there, but even if it had just been like a regular show, no, we wouldn't have had too much to talk about.
All right. Well, looks like we picked a good week.
Some non-hunter news. I can drive a train now, like an actual freight train. And we occasionally hit animals. It's not quite like hunting because you're using a train instead of a gun, but it's you don't even stop. If there's like a bear or something on the tracks, you just keep going.
I guess what are you going to do? It's not like you could stop in time, right?
No, yeah, a 2-mile train is going to take, quite a long time to stop, and so yeah.
So do you have is there like an informal point system?
Actually, one of the guys that was showing me the ropes on one of my trips had a little notebook that he kept track.
That's 2 bears, okay? Or was it A?
50.
50 bears, A? And
yeah,
some
50
moose,
bears, 35 moose. It was really, really Canadian where I went, holy mackerel. Okay, you know how you guys make fun of me for my residual Canadian accent? Like, I live in a big city. I actually have a weird sort of, English person from a completely French area kind of accent. Everybody that I talked to when I was out there doing my training, they have what you would consider a hardcore Canadian accent. I didn't realize people like this actually existed.
They have the Saskatchewan accent?
Yeah, exactly. That's where I was, Saskatchewan and Alberta.
Oh, there you go.
Just like they sound like caricatures from like TV or like what you guys think we sound like. It was hilarious. I just had a great time.
And
that's the news.
Yeah, I think I mean, yeah, as we close in on 5.4, I mean, I'm getting the sense that, hunters are going to be about what we look like right now. I don't get the sense that there's any more big giant changes in store, which is fine because holy crap, has 5.4 been a barrel of hunter chaos. As a matter of fact, if anybody is interested in a fully collected version, Arth did make a post over at Warcraft Hunters Union sort of collecting, here's all of the changes to date that have happened with Hunters in 5.4, or the current version of all the changes. Hey, this reminds me, did we ever get a flippant answer on Lean Pack?
No,
I
nothing.
just realized I totally should have replied to Ghostcrawler's tweet with that.
We sort of got the call out and said, "Hey, folks, ask Ghostcrawler what's up." We sent a few tweets ourselves, but nothing on that about what the purpose of that was or what the thinking for that was. So it remains a mystery at this point.
I'm going to.
Sorry, what was this mystery? I've been out of town for a couple of weeks.
So they
Glyph
gave
of the
us a
Lean
new
Pack is
glyph.
a mystery.
Yeah. It reduces the radius of aspect of the pack down to 7 yards.
Oh,
And it's a major glyph. So we're
And we
trying
don't
to
know
figure out-
why. So that's
Yeah.
the question. Why
that's
is
random.
what is this for?
All right, let me see what I can do.
okay.
Okay, here we go.
We should probably let Ghostcrawler know that we are going to be drunk tweeting a lot today.
Yeah, and speaking of Ghostcrawler, that was in our blue posts and tweets section. He did give us one hunter-related tweet this week, and it was addressed to our own Frostheim here, and it says, "I missed the news until recently that you were stepping back. You'll be missed. Keep in touch." So I thought that was nice that Ghostcrawler acknowledged your stepping down.
I thought that was very nice.
Yes.
By the way, Frostheim, I've been listening to the WoW Insider show,
Mm-hmm.
and man, they are mean to hunters. You really need to talk to them.
It's hey, there's some hunter news. I'm crossing my fingers so I'll remember it, but I'm still sober, so I shouldn't be a problem. I was on the WoW Insider show once, but then they switched so they were no longer doing it live, and then they switched so they were recording the show on like Monday afternoons, and so I have to assume that their pool of guests for the WoW Insider show or columnists who WoW Insider people who can participate is limited to those who don't work. Right? It's like if you have a day job, you can never, ever make the show. But yeah, I think it's definitely. I think it was unfortunate that they moved away from a live show. A live show is fraught with technical peril, but I think
Actually, they are doing live show again.
Oh,
are
really?
they?
Yep,
Shows
for
you
about a month.
That shows you how in touch I am.
Great.
Okay, so I just tweeted Ghostcrawler. Wait, why drink? Did you say?
I spoke, so there you go.
Okay. That's sort of a once per episode thing.
That's the once per episode listeners have to drink. But another piece of Hunter news that I think is worth mentioning is that WoW Insider is now accepting applications for a new Hunter columnist. So if you want to take over the reins of Scattered Shots from me, you can go to WoW Insider and you can apply there to be the new Hunter columnist. And I can give you the crazy tips right now on the air on how to give yourself an amazingly better chance in the competition. And here's the secret. When they post for the columnist position, they give like a link to like, here's the directions on how to apply. If you follow those directions, you're ahead of 80% of the pack. It is amazing how few people actually follow the directions when applying.
Oh,
So-
somebody's got a drink. That
Yeah,
was
that
our
was
first
the
phone.
Oh my
It
god,
was every week, I tell you.
That-
It's the same person.
that's
'cause
us. That's us.
Yeah, a lot of the times it is actually.
So,
Yeah, I was
Um,
gonna say when you're talking about the WoW Insider application process, I used to take for granted that most people were pretty good at writing and following instructions, and that I would literally be like one of 100, quote unquote resumes when I was applying. That's not the case. The number of people who can write intelligibly and not sound like they're writing a high school a high school paper or something and are capable of following instructions is surprisingly small.
Yeah, and that's another good tip I have. Don't if you it is not appropriate to write in lol speak or leet speak.
Oh, well, I wasn't even talking about that.
At all. It's
Oh
amazing.
my god, I love you for saying that.
It's amazing how many people think like, well, this is about WoW, so this is appropriate lols. I'm just gonna Roxers my application on it. And that's like, well, have you ever read WoW Insider? Because that's not how that goes. Because that is just a horrible, horrible means of communication. And I'm telling you, if you write that way, you come off incredibly stupid.
Well, okay, don't forget different
My
ways, right? Like when
estimation
you're talking to people on the internet informally, people don't use capitalization. They use, linguistic shortcuts is what I would call it, more than lol speak. But
I concur that there are linguistic shortcuts that are appropriate when you're trying to chat quickly in-game. But once you leave game, if you're sending an email or writing anything outside of, like, a game, although I'm capable of using capitalization and punctuation when I'm typing in-game. But I do... But yeah, when I get an email from somebody that's like that, I'm just like, wow, okay, my estimation of this person's IQ just dropped by half. And I now...
I talk about that in real life. I'm just like, lol, thanks for the coffee.
you say lol in real life?
Yeah, I'm like, lol. No, I don't do that.
Sure.
Who does that? My favorite one is lol.
I know people that
when
do
people
that.
actually say lol. Like,
Okay.
I know... Sometimes I do it every now and then, and we all do it, like, to joke around or whatever.
Ironically,
But, like,
yeah.
Yeah, but lol, like, can you imagine just walking into GameStop and just, like, talking to the guy and be like, lol? Like,
Much more likely, I'll walk into the GameStop and the guy will say lol to me for asking some sort of, I don't know, stupid question. Or a question he perceives as stupid.
He'll be like, oh my god, what are you doing in a physical game store? Lol.
Yeah, right.
The timing there was quite good.
But yeah, no, so it's I mean, I'm going to assume that you're really stupid and somewhere under the age of 14. Because that's pretty much the audience. And not to be too offensive to 14-year-olds and under, but I think it might be redundant to say under 14 and stupid, because there's not that many.
Well, I was stupid when I was 14, and I couldn't write when I was 14, but I do know of a couple of very eloquent and sophisticated 14-year-olds who just don't tell anyone.
See, I could write when I was 14, but I was stupid.
Well, you're still stupid. I mean, we love you. But...
Well, every time I hear the however or see it in a book, I always think of you, Frostheim.
Semicolon, however, comma.
You got it.
All right, well, let's see. Well, then if we have nothing to talk about...
We don't have nothing to talk about. We were politely waiting for you to finish.
Okay, I'm finished.
We wanted to learn
Okay.
more. I was like, felt like I was in school for a minute. I was like,
Yeah.
Grandpappy Frostheim, teach us more.
Teach us how to apply for jobs. And
Yeah,
stuff.
no, okay, but so the point is that they need a new hunter columnist. They got approval from AOL to keep the columns going, and that's saying something. By the way, they are not keeping. I don't know if you've noticed on WoW Insider, they're not keeping every class's column going, but hunters are important enough that they're going to keep that going.
Hell yeah.
And yeah, so I mean, somebody's got to do it. It might as well be you.
And you, and you, and you.
And that's you spelled Y-O-U, just to say.
That's right. That's
not the
thank you.
letter U.
If you put the letter U on your application, your chances just went up by 100%. The letter.
Yeah,
You should actually now write your entire letter ironically that way. Everyone. Just
Oh.
flat
I think
out.
Michelle's gunning for the columnists.
Just make them like tear their hair out. They'll just be like, shit, all of these people wrote us like this.
Pissing off my editors. I have to mute. I'll be right back.
Drink.
Drink. Interrupted by real life. So,
Any
yes, no,
parents
but-
that are driving with their kids, by the way, if you haven't noticed, now's the time to shut it off.
So I haven't actually read the guidelines for how to apply since years and years ago when I applied. But at least I assume they haven't changed that much. But like amongst the things on there was like they were like, yes, and give us 10 ideas for a column, right? Like 10 things you would write about. And I think that's one of the most ingenious questions for an application because it is amazing how many people start WoW blogs and like within like a few posts or something like, oh, I'm not sure what else to write about. And it's like if you can't just whip off 10 starting from ground zero, you're not going to be able to keep that going.
And especially when the first, because like day one, you're ready to go. Like you could like put like you're ready to put like 5 articles on that very first day because you're raring to go, and then by the end of the week, you're like, what do I do now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I mean, there's.
And some weeks you don't have to think of anything. There's the good weeks where it's like, oh, there's news. Okay, here's the news, and here's what I think of the news. But other weeks you're just like, oh God, I've been doing this for 2 years. What the hell else am I going to say? Nothing new is happening. I've already done everything I can think of, and that's ironically when some of the best posts come about.
I'm back.
It's rather like us doing a show where some weeks we have so much to talk about, and some weeks we're having to really work at it.
Yeah, I mean, some of the better shows have been the ones where we haven't had a lot to talk about, actually. I'll go in the beginning, I'll write up the show notes and go, oh, there's really nothing here. How the heck are we going to fill up an hour? And yet we've had some pretty good shows where we actually filled up an hour with not a lot going in.
Yeah, you know what, though? I think that really is directly proportional to the amount we've had to drink before the show. Because depending on our moods when we get in, we could just fill up a show with banter and nonsense, and nobody even notices. I'm not even sure why we have anybody at this listening to this today.
Well, just saying from the outside in, anytime you've got a show that's personality driven, like this show, like you've got strong personalities. You don't
this
really
show
have
is
to have
data and information driven.
Yeah, sure. But see, that happens to also be your personality, so it works.
That's a good point. Beard. Data and beard driven.
I'm not sure where the beard comes from, but
just looking at your photo in Google, do you still have that thing? You didn't have it when we came down to Minnesota.
No, he did not.
No. That I had that in the winter.
Ah, I see. I thought you just acquired a hipster beard.
No. In the winter, I let the facial hair grow. In the summer, I cut it back.
Well, you are in Boston now?
I'm in Boston now.
A lot of hipsters in Boston.
So the winter will be much shorter.
You have to check every so often when you're living in a city like Boston. You just have to take a few minutes each day, look back at your life and say, am I a hipster yet? And if the answer is yes, then decide what you want to do from there. Do you have a record player?
Well, what if the answer is yes, but I'm different from all the other hipsters?
Then
you're definitely wow.
That is too meta. I can't even parse that. I'm like the opposite of a hipster. I keep doing something way after it stopped being cool. I often started it before it was cool, but in order to counterbalance that, I just keep doing it after everybody else forgets about it.
I thought that's what the whole hipster movement was, is like do something after it's cool. Like I think like here in LA, hipsters are rollerblading or something.
Yes, right, because that's far enough after it was cool that it's going to become cool again in the near future because they're doing it, and therefore they're still hipsters doing something before it's cool. Cool is a concept that only exists in the term of months, not years, Rollerblading is like a 90s thing.
I could be wrong, it's been a while, but I think Boston has a lot of hills and cobblestone streets. I don't think rollerblading would work there very well.
I think rollerblading just came into fashion in Canada.
Actually, we only legalized it 2 months ago, mostly because
it was illegal before 2 months ago?
Yeah. Totally. There was a big problem with people in the 90s rollerblading alongside cars and stuff on like really crappy Canadian streets. You know how our winters get. We have a lot of potholes, and there were so many injuries. With our free health care, they just decided to make it illegal. And of course, I'm just gonna stop making stuff up now. It's just anybody from Canada.
Oh my god! I was like, this can't be real. But like, part of me was like, this is so absurd that for Canada that I would believe it.
I was falling for it. I said, yeah, it sounds like Canada to me. Yep.
Yeah, right.
Something they would do.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I have trouble like trying to gauge how absurd to make my ridiculously fake stories, because we have some pretty absurd things that are actually true.
I know.
Like you have like some like national maple syrup storage Fort Knox kind of thing.
Well, that was a
Wow.
true story. The one, the folks that robbed that. Actually, the best fake story I think that you did, Euripides, on the show was the U2 Bono thing. I think you I think Frost kind of fell for that one.
That was so good. What was it I
I
told
don't
him
know
again?
that one.
Oh, I think I managed to convince Frost in one of the pre-shows that Bono from U2 had been shot 9 times. Those are both kind of like
Yeah, well,
like
the way Euripides approached it, he was like, "Oh, do you know which musician has been shot 9 times?" And I'm like, "I don't know." And Dirk was like, "One of these rappers," and Euripides was like, "No, it was Bono." And we're like, "What? Really?" And I don't know. Euripides gets this perverse pleasure from lying to people.
just you.
He's just acting. It's okay. He's an
No,
actor.
I'm lying. I can't
Yeah.
act with the damn. I'm lying.
So
Oh,
let me
God.
remind the live chat room to please, dear God, send us questions, topics of conversation in a private message to Ollie Sonder, because we got nothing else to talk about. And so we're just going to blather, so you might as well come up with something you want us
that's
to blather about.
nonsense.
Yeah.
We've got plenty of things to talk
We can
about.
reminisce here a little bit. I would say this, today being August the 10th, I believe we are almost 4 years to the day, I think August 12th, from when we released our first episode
well,
of the podcast.
Oh,
So yeah, we're 4-year anniversary, if you will.
We
Well,
should have had.
4 more years.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
We should have had.
That's a reference to elections. You wouldn't know about that, Euripides.
Oh yeah, no. Our up here when you're elected as Prime Minister of Canada, it's 30 years.
Elected, air quotes.
No, we do real elections.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. It's just a 30-year term.
You're a communist country. Your
Socialist.
elections are rigged by the Red Menace.
I hear you trying to change the subject, but I think I remember we were talking about my friendship bracelet and the fact that it's not here yet.
I'm sorry, is patch 5.4 out already?
Oh, okay. Is that how we're playing this?
This was the rule. The rule was, and don't get me wrong, it seems as close as you can possibly be to a sure thing without quite yet being a sure thing.
Yeah.
It sounds like you're just you're trying to stretch this
The
out.
bet was what happens in 5.4, not 5.4 PTR.
Is there like a sale on friendship bracelets coming up that you're holding out for, or? I think I spent 80 cents on mine. I could probably give you the place where I bought it.
Well, I'm not going to
It's principle.
You got
This
it.
is about principle.
Well, that's Canadian money, so it's got holes and things.
No. I had to buy it on Amazon.com, because I wanted to ship it down there and not actually have to ship it myself. So yeah, I went through the whole Amazon.com thing, not the Amazon.ca.
Wow, they have an Amazon in Canada?
They do, and
They have an
so
Amazon Day in Canada.
Amazon Day.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Yeah, Amazon Day. It's like a national holiday here. June 24th, all the kids get the day off school.
See how easily he does it? Did you see that? There
Yes.
he picked a day, and he just went with it. See, Canadians are liars. That's what we think.
No.
They're liars.
I mean, I'm listening to him going, please, tell me more.
No, but he draws us in so quickly. It's like we know
What I
he's
do
lying.
is I do a quick little mental shift. Says June 24th is actually Quebec's national, like provincial quote unquote national holiday.
You think we're going to believe anything you have to say now?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that's the greatest part.
Quebec, like that's a real place.
Then I started throwing. Then I start throwing in like truth and see like it's
Oh,
just
so
as
you're
much of a
mixing truth and lies together.
it's just as much of a victory for me if I can get Frost to disbelieve something that's true about Canada as if I can get him to believe something that's not true in general. So the fact that Bono was shot 9 times and Quebec doesn't exist, this is a Frostheim we're sending out into the world, people.
He's just infusing you with Canadianisms that may or may not be true, that you'll go spouting off to people all over your new town.
No, he's said all sorts of crazy stuff about Canada, like they have elections. It's a country.
Oh God.
Everybody knows it's just a territory of the U.S. where we haven't gotten around to
Territory.
stomping out communism yet.
Like Puerto Rico or something.
We didn't have room for another star.
What was it? Everybody down there says Canada is like the U.S.'s hat. I think I saw one on Reddit where the U.S. is Canada's overalls because of Alaska going up the other side. That's how we prefer to look at it.
Well, like,
Overalls? Really? That's your preferred?
Well, I think they'd drawn a little character or something, and
of course they did, because that's silly.
it was Reddit. I can't be blamed for things I read on there.
Oh, and wait, is there a Canadian Reddit? Because if there is, I am so on there.
Oh yeah. Canadian Reddit is really cool. They have this. No, there's no. There's a sub.
Reddit is cool. Is like, oh god.
Hold on. You know what you have to do? Reddit.com/r/Canadia, CANADIA.
Mm-hmm.
It's the most awesome little schlocky. Actually, I've got one. I think I've got the number 4 top post on reddit.com/r/Canadia. I sent a picture of a pretty large moose saying, "Has anybody ever seen a moose this small before?" And that became like the. It's not a very big sub, but I was proud of that. Yeah, reddit.com/r/Canadia. All about just the nonsensical Canadianisms that are funny.
Oh yeah, like, so I'm super into Canada right now, but I have been drinking. And Alessandra, are you not in game as Alessandor?
I'm here.
Is
I'm
that
wearing
you?
a purple dress with my giant worm.
Am I in the group with you?
Wait, are people in groups?
Because I wrote somebody named what I thought was Alessandra, and I don't think it's you, but I wrote it in Leet Speak, and they invited me. So hi.
Did I turn you into a skeleton?
I thought I heard Alessandor in the chat room, that name in the chat room.
Yeah.
Hey, Alessandor. I thought you were Alessander, and that's why I wrote you in Leet Speak. So.
No, it is me. It's just my original hunter was a blood elf because, for the horde. And so when I had to make a dwarf, I had to be Alessander. So I had to, respell it with an O. So
this is you, though. Okay.
Yes.
So I don't... Okay, wait, so I see Alessandra, but wait a minute, why hasn't anybody invited me into a group?
Well, actually, they're waiting for you to invite us all to a raid.
Yeah, it's our fearless leader, Frost.
I never invite anybody.
Alessandra, let's invite
this
Frost
is your
to our
chance.
group. Let's invite Frost to our group. We'll give him the crown, and we'll turn a raid, and he'll have the crown, and we can invite people in and figure out what we're doing.
Let me see.
That sounds like a great plan.
Go for it.
I'm planning stuff and drinking, and it's almost noon here. This is a Frostheim celebration. What would you like to do, Frost? What would you like to do in all of Azeroth with all these hunters?
Well, once we get everybody collected, I think I want to go to the Stonerot Dam. That's like the source of so many great Warcraft Hunters Union in-game guild activities and celebrations.
We did have one Q&A so far for you, by the way.
Oh, we have a Q&A? Hold on, let me find out where
the one who's not drinking. Maybe
Faraz says, so what is Frost going to be doing with all of his newfound free time?
Yeah, what are you going to be doing? Because you're not one to sit still and do nothing.
Wait, there's an invite. Is that you, Michelle?
He's still sitting there figuring out his invites.
Hold on, which...
Okay, while they're figuring this out, I think I can probably handle this. Frostheim is going to be taking up a lifetime pursuit of mixed martial arts. He spent so much time at range with somebody else doing the hard work that he's decided to learn it from the other way. He is taking up jiu-jitsu, ninjutsu, and some other...
Oh, he's already a ninja. Remember when he injured himself?
It's true.
And next thing I expect to see from Frost is an announcement that he'll be starting to do the mixed martial arts circuit. So, in the octagon, as they call it. It's the octagon, right? That's what they call the matches? Mm-hmm. Yeah, there you go. So anyways,
well,
that's
isn't when you're
guess.
short, you're supposed to have a low center of gravity so that you're a better fighter?
Not necessarily, no.
Okay.
If you're short, you have a lower center of gravity, which is going to help you with throws, certainly, but you also have a vastly shorter reach, which is going to just hurt the F out of you when it comes to any kind of striking. I can tell you that
about Frostheim, for people who haven't met him in real life, he's actually about 4'8".
Oh my god.
Is that the wrist hair or is that Frostheim, though?
No, I can tell you from experience that it is shocking how much of an advantage reach is. Like when you're sparring, like the person with reach has just a huge advantage, and the person without reach really has to be substantially better to overcome that. At least with like Taekwondo sparring, which is the only thing I've actually sparred competitively in.
I was just making up something completely ridiculous to assign you as something that you'd be doing now that you're not writing or podcasting anymore. I can't even believe that I was even close to something that you've actually done before.
Lagerwolf has an answer for that, Euripides. He says that Frostheim's going to be picking up beer nitsu.
Beer jitsu.
I like it. Okay. He's gonna start a microbrew. He's gonna make his own.
There's a lot of that in Boston too.
Dark brew lager. That's what he's.
That's right. They should do that.
Oh, what did I just do? Did I just say dark brew lager? Wait, who has to drink it? Everybody or just?
I think
that's
everybody.
Okay. So
there we go.
Michelle, invite me into the. Oh, here we go.
You're in a different raid, so.
No, I'm not.
Okay, well now I'll invite you.
Bella, where are you? We need you.
Gaviscora says Frost is going to be working on his new awesome ninja board game. That's right, I forgot about that ninja board game.
We killed it.
Oh, did you?
Mm-hmm.
That's too
Oh, you
bad.
did? Oh, no. Sorry to hear that.
Michelle, invite Bella Sky.
Just did.
2 L's SKYE.
Got her. With Frostba. Hey.
Yay, we have a healer.
I don't
Or a
even know what
tank.
you guys are going to be doing.
Your mom, your sister.
I just walked right into that one.
It's been a long time since we talked about your hot sister. What is she up to?
She is flying into Montreal today and
Real life.
shopping. Oh, look at and my sister. I think that's 2.
All right, hold on.
And she's actually shopping for wedding dresses.
And wedding night lingerie.
I am not going to be there for that. But, and I'm not going to be there for the wedding dresses for that matter. My wife will. I'm going to stay home and do the manly thing, watch the kids. I might
So
keep
wait, your
it
choices were go try on wedding dresses or watch children?
No, my choices were actually to go and watch my sister try on wedding dresses or watch the children. If I want to go try on wedding dresses, I have to go to a different shop.
One that has
What?
cameras.
No, one that wouldn't mind letting guys try on their wedding dresses. I can think of at least 2. They're kind of a big deal up here in Canada. You know, everybody gets together on Saturdays, and after the hockey game, you know, you get a little trashed. You want to go and have some fun.
We don't believe anything you say anymore.
Speaking of which, I see the keg is out.
That's too bad because I was about to start marching. Hey, I haven't taken a look at what level are people. Do we have to go on foot? What, level 1?
Probably.
Dude,
Yeah.
I'm level 24. Let's do this. Whatever.
How are you gonna?
I have a gun now.
RP walk if you're not on foot?
Oh,
What are you
dude.
talking about? Okay, I'm moving. Okay, I better turn off. There we go.
Where are we going?
We're going to the Stone Rod Dam.
Let's do it. I can't fly, so.
Wait, I have a sidecar. Wait.
Most people can't. Most people can't
Hey.
ride anyway. It's all kinds of level 1s here.
Jump in. Hey! Wait.
Yeah.
Okay, that is the right person. Yeah. Alright, ready.
Beth.
I went through so much effort to make this thing. I love it. It is the best vehicle ever.
Yeah, I'm just looking. I miss all the changes from this patch. I'm just looking through it. Is Lean Pack the only one that you guys were wondering about? Because this other one here, it doesn't seem like it should be a major. Enduring Deceit is like 10% off of spell damage when you're in camouflage, but when
Yeah, that one's a little odd.
Well, see
too,
that one.
as well.
That one makes more sense, right? Because
well,
I
one
think
hit. As soon as you take damage, you're out of camo.
right. I think the theory with that one is it's just bad. But
But why would they make something so bad that nobody would ever use it? You know, aspect of the pack that
what are you talking about? It's Tons of druids out there. No, the issue I had with whoa, hey, what just happened?
Did somebody gank Frostheim?
No.
That would be a fitting way for him to go out.
Okay, here we go. I tried to kill like a random critter, but it turned out it was one of those you could tame, so I got into one of those pet battle things, and I couldn't figure out how to get out because I've never actually done a pet battle.
Yeah.
Did you win?
That happened to me once. Somebody challenged me to a pet battle while I was in some world PvP, not like structured as somebody flagged I was trying to gank, and I got challenged to a pet battle. I tried to make the thing go away so I could continue ganking, and I ended up getting into this pet battle. What was it? I must have been at a combat. I did twos the other day with a red pally. Anybody who wants to do PvP as a hunter right now before the patch, because it's going to change a few things, oh my god, it is a lot of fun. It's like you get in there and no matter what they do first, you've got an answer for it. Doesn't matter what comp they are, it doesn't matter how good they are. It's like all you need is a macro that has your rapid fire, stampede, and your PvP trinket on, and hit that thing as soon as your PvE. The trick is to wear a PvE trinket and a PvP trinket, and the PvP trinket should be an on-use agility boost. So I have that Valor PvE trinket, Vicious Shadow Pen, something or other.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, the one that is like at 8,000 agility proc. It's not that high in arena. It goes, I think it's like 4 to 6,000, something like that, because of they downscale the eye levels a little bit. But
oh, shit! I'm sorry. I fell asleep. Is everybody still talking about PvP?
Oh, wait a minute. Was I talking about PvP?
Yes.
Hold on. There's got to be something written.
I believe complaining was the trigger.
No, I'm pretty sure.
And you were kind of just bragging about it.
Yeah, but that's.
Well, it's talking.
It's been a while since I drank.
About, oh, you're right.
Well, go ahead.
That was a lot of work for nothing. Okay.
But
Well, you know what's gonna really suck with PvP? When they get rid of reminisce and silencing shot. That's gonna suck.
Well, they're not getting rid of silencing shot.
No, but they're gonna make it like marks only. I like the fact that they're trying to make marksmanship because silencing shot and readiness. They don't seem to realize hunters follow those abilities. That kind of almost defines the class a little bit because, it makes
PvP maybe not in the
well,
real
that's
game.
what I'm talking about PvP. All I'm talking about is PvP. If that's
I've noticed,
then you would be complaining about it, and complaining about that might qualify as a drinking.
Well, but before I go ahead and drink, let me ask you this: if I do acknowledge that I'm complaining and take my drink, does that mean you'll stop telling us PvP stories?
We'll see.
Well, then we'll see.
Well, we haven't heard a Happy Frostheim story in a long time. Do you have any old ones that you remember that you always like?
I'm not sure. Hold on to that thought. I need to go get another drink. I'll be right back.
And that is a drink because I think it's when somebody has to go away, right? Take a break.
Hold on.
If it's not a rule, we'll make it one right now because this thing doesn't have to be set in stone, right? We can make this up as we go.
It's serious, man. We're dwarves. It's set in stone.
I was reading through the rules. I couldn't find anything.
Oh, whatever happened to the king in Ironforge? He's still frozen in whatever.
Yep.
Diamond or jewel stuff. I mean, they never resolved that, did they? I thought at the end of Cataclysm he'd have been back on his throne or something, but no, he's just stuck in carbonite for the rest of his life, it looks like.
No, Wild Insider complains about that all the time, that the Horde gets all the stories, and the Alliance has all these stories that just kind of died. But Anne's been rolling a hunter, and somebody else has been playing a hunter, but they're not very appreciative of the class. They actually complain that we had too many buttons and stuff.
Oh.
Well, we do kind of have a lot of buttons.
We do have a lot of buttons.
Yeah, that's a
But
legitimate
that's a good
complaint.
thing.
Yeah.
It's not.
No.
I think it's mechanically a bad thing. I think there's two arguments you can make about too many buttons, right? The first argument is it's hard to keep track of so many buttons, and that that argument is going to change based on the person, right? There's a point at which there's too many buttons for anyone, but where that line is going to vary by person.
True. It all depends on how much you like your rotation and how much you get into it, and you know what I mean.
Yeah, but the other thing about too many buttons is the more damage-causing buttons you add, or let's say damage-boosting buttons, which includes focus, regen stuff. The more damage-boosting buttons you add, the closer together the damage of every button gets, right? Because they can't just make us do more damage because we have to do the same damage as everyone else. And so and then you get into the whole homogenization thing, which we've talked about endlessly. Mm-hmm. And that one is not a opinion based on people. It's like, no, we definitely have a big damage homogenization issue going on. Wow, I do not remember the last time I actually walked to Loch Modan. I'm having difficulty remembering the way. I think it's through this tunnel.
So, what are you going to be doing with any spare time you do have once you're finished with writing?
Sure. Well, the first thing to note is my gradually over the years, the day job demands on my time have grown larger and larger.
I hear that.
And so I definitely have larger day job demands. Oh, wait, here's a fork in the road. Wait, but there's a sign. Wait a minute. But the sign for Dunmarog says to go back the way I came from.
Where are we meeting?
The dam is where we're trying to go.
It's up top. Go north.
Press M.
So we have to go.
Yeah, I say there's if only they had an in-game map.
Okay, I'm going north.
Be able to go. That would be
no, not that north. The other
Someone
way.
tweet Ghost Crawler.
Oh, different north.
Wait,
great
no.
addition to the game.
The other north.
Look where Warveny is on the map.
Did you know that Canadian North is actually north by northeast in the States?
Okay, so actually.
Let the Hordy here let you Alliance know where things are in Loch Modan. Let's do this. This is pretty serious, guys.
I'm going this way. So, that day job just keeps taking up more time. Of course, I just moved to Boston for a new day job that takes up more. I also have tons and tons of other side projects that I want to do or have kind of started but never really had time going with. One of them is SEO related. Keep meaning to. I even registered a domain ages ago to sort of write a little learning guide to SEO because it ticks me off that there isn't really a learning resource. There's lots of great SEO sites, but there's no site you can see doesn't know anything and be like, yes, just go here and follow these articles and you'll understand it. And so I'm like, oh, I should just write that up. That way I can quit answering these questions from everybody I know. So I keep meaning to do that, and that's, drmcawesome.com. And so I might eventually get around to doing that now. I have another with Werewolf the Apocalypse that I've been neglecting. But so the point.
Did Frostheim just cut it for anyone else?
Yeah, he's been cutting in and out here.
Yeah.
I was worried it was my line. Oh, wait. Frostheim just cut out. Let me just check the rules.
No, we actually have to drink if that doesn't happen.
Oh, if you don't cut out?
Oh, damn.
So he's already up. That one can't happen now.
But yeah, so the common thread of these projects is it's things that I can work on. Oh, right, and I have my dice store, and there's more stuff. Manufacturers. As a matter of fact, sometime any day now, I'm going to get my first prototype of one-sided dice that I'm going to start manufacturing.
Holy shit!
Right?
Isn't that a ball?
Dice?
No, it's not. It's a Mobius strip. It's going to be
you just
so
break
awesome.
that out and
Well, it's like it's kind of like for situations like if for those people.
yeah, he's definitely cutting out, and it checks again. It says right here, listener drinking game. Drink whenever technical issues of any type occur.
I have
sorry, guys.
Sure, so listeners have to
Follow
drink.
the dam.
This is great. This is great, Alessandro. It's a great place to be. Right here. Stuck between a rock and a hard place for me.
Did Alessandro's driving fail you?
Yes.
Ah!
Oh my god, we're gonna die! Oh my god.
I lived. Did you?
Where are
We
you?
are both alive.
I got to jump.
Frightening. That was frightening. We were leaping off of a dam in a motorcycle with a very bizarre purple worm like with us and a dragon. It was a lot. No.
There's a hole in the dam. There's a hole in the dam.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is where it blowed up.
Hey, do you remember?
Hey, anyone got a life grip? No.
Who was it that made that comment about this is a game that will mail you a dragon? You remember
Right.
that?
It's a bit high up, isn't it?
This is hilarious.
I don't remember what the original source of it was, but yeah, anytime people start talking about like, oh, that's just not realistic, it's like this is a game that sends you dragons in the mail. So you have to get pretty extreme before you can really start bitching about what's realistic.
Yeah. I
Oh,
don't
you
know why
should
that
see
just
the
came back to
drop-off
me.
we're looking at down here. I think we're going to die.
I have no idea where you are. Where are
We're
you?
gonna die.
Look for the
From
giant purple
precipice
worm.
of death.
Giant. I
You
don't
know,
see
I'll
a
bet you,
giant.
Allie, you could probably figure out how to share your screen, but with screen share. I don't know
Wait,
if
what are you
that's
doing down there?
Not being in the dam.
Trying to
Michelle, you
murder
might want to
us.
jump off onto the rocket over there.
Yeah, I might want to jump off, Michelle. Go for it.
Rockets! Yay!
Well, if you're in a sidecar, if you have somebody in your
Yeah!
sidecar, you can eject them, and it kind of ignores a couple of the.
Aw, come back,
Huzzah!
rockets.
If you eject people in
Yeah.
a sidecar, sometimes it ignores various things that are there to prevent people from falling through the world. So depending on where you eject them, I have a motorcycle for that exact reason.
Here's a yeah. Anyhow, so before I was cutting in and out, which I'm still not sure why I was doing. So the common thread in all of the projects that I'm going to be working on is it's projects that if I just decide not to do anything with it for a few months, I'm not letting anyone down. It's just things that I could just be like, oh, I feel like working on this. I'm going to do it. Oh, I don't feel like working on it. Who cares?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I kind of hear that. The the cool thing about this show and the things that we do like it is that they're just so, well received by the people that like them. But on the other hand, if you have to miss too many shows, or you kind of get the sense you have that urge to always be there every week, and that
You have a
means,
sense of obligation.
yeah, exactly, and that. Luckily, we've been able to offset that a little bit by having so many so many hosts, and now that Arth has been there to cover for me the last couple of weeks, as an example, it's been a good thing. So, but yeah, no, I definitely hear it being nice to be able to just do something with no expectations and just see what happens.
Oh, right, that's what I was telling. I was telling the story of why you need one-sided dice. Okay.
Oh yeah, I'm
I
more
told you at the beginning. One-sided dice.
Yeah, so like here's an example, right? This happens all the time in gaming. So like you're in a situation like you're playing Dungeons and Dragons and you're the dungeon master. And you've got like, oh, here's a room and there's an orc in it and the orc's guarding a pie, right? And
Does that happen a lot?
of course. And so if somebody comes into the room, if the players go into the room, the orcs can attack the players, right? That's the only option, right? So there's one option. So then the players come into the room, and then you're like, okay, well, the orc is going to attack them, except then the smallest die you can roll is a d4. So you just have to keep rolling it until you get a 1 to know what he's going to do.
Or you
Yeah.
could just say any possible number that comes up is going to result in that orc going and attacking them.
That's not true, because it's only on a 1 that he attacks. There is nothing else. So that's why you need a one-sided die. So you can get
Or you
get
could
to the
just not
game
roll
much
anything.
faster.
You could just say the orc attacks.
Oh yeah, we could just ignore the rules. We're from Canada. Oh my god.
So your answer to this is what is it, a Moebius or Moebius strip or whatever?
Mobius strip.
Mobius.
I've
So
seen
using
it written. I haven't said it a whole lot.
so using 3D printing, and I'm getting the first samples in a few days. So using 3D printing for Mobius strip, and so thus a one-sided die.
That's crazy, dude.
And it's awesome.
I love it.
So is it like the shape of it's like a big ring basically with a single twist in it, and you can sort
The
of
half twist,
a half twist, yeah, and you can
and the
kinda
half
like-
twist is evenly distributed the length of the ring.
Okay. Or you could just, throw down a two-sided or four-sided die that has one on every face.
Well, sure, but either way, you have to manufacture a whole new die. It might as well be a one-sided die.
Yeah, I guess it's more interesting. I think I'd probably break this out just to get a laugh. Well, I don't actually play any games that require dice, but if I did, I would break this out to get a laugh. But then again, I'm a Canadian and I ignore the rules.
So guys, remember to laugh.
Who are you kidding? I don't have any friends who play games
He's
with
bringing
me.
this out for a laugh.
Eh.
For a one-sided die, see, there are situations in which you would need it, and it's kind of like that would be a fun, like, special thing, like, yeah. You have to do the one-sided die. So this is kind of awesome.
And you can also do things like, oh, okay, well, here's all the options. Oh, but here's the only die I have. So let's see what's going to happen to you guys. And they know what the result of one gets them. And not to mention, just for the sake of completeness, like they make 3-sided dice and 5-sided dice and 14-sided dice. There's no game that needs them, but gamers still buy them because they want to have everything.
Yeah,
True.
so when you're deciding on the color of the friendship bracelet that you will inevitably send to me, you can use the one-sided dice, and if it lands on the only side that it has, send me an orange one.
Why do you want an orange one?
Well, I was
legendary.
debating. We were talking about this in particular. I sent him a blue one, and I wasn't thinking about the
Let me
colors.
answer the question more clearly. So, the answer is that Euripides is drawing a comparison between the color of the bracelet and the rarity of an item in game, and so he's saying that winning a bet against Euripides is the equivalent to getting a blue drop, but winning a bet against Frostheim, that's legendary.
Again with the interpretation. Although, to be honest, you're right a lot more than I am, so I would actually buy that.
When you said orange, I immediately just thought it stood for feral druids.
Oh!
Oh, Michelle. You're an asshole.
I know.
Wait a second. Hold on. I think a feral druid being, me being made fun of a feral druid, isn't it?
Oh, actually, I think that is a
HPP
drink.
running gig. Oh, there we go. HPP running gag.
Okay.
It's worth it.
Oh, hold on. We touched on a few of these. First of all, Frostheim's hairy wrist. When I made that comment about him being
So
4'8",
worth it.
somebody asked.
That's a one-time ongoing joke drink.
Oh wait, do any of these get a
If it's-
single
if it's-
drink?
If it's under the one, it's once.
Except that these are all on the same line. So is that once if any of these happen, or once each of these happen?
Oh, that's an unclear rules interpretation.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and clarify this. Every time one of these things happens,
Why isn't
you
Boz
have to
Animal?
drink.
Why isn't Boz Animal here? That's a disappointing thing. He could clarify
he probably
this.
had-
He wrote the rules.
He did write the rules, and he's not here to tell us otherwise. So we're going to go ahead and say, because Ali made a hairy wrist joke when I mentioned Frostheim's height, that's one. Canadian jokes have been made about every 4.5 minutes since the show started, so that's 2. My hot sister was mentioned once, that's 3. Feral druids were just mentioned, so that's 4. Now we're missing Dark Brew's amazing rare spawn tames and spore bats. We got to touch on those two before. Technically, it's been an hour, so we go to a couple more minutes before we do our outro and then post show.
Yeah.
Hey, I got a question for you, Euripides. When is the episode 100 post show getting posted?
Oh, yeah, people keep asking
I keep
about
on-
that, yes.
Okay, yes, it's on my computer. I need to go and import it back into Audacity, and I had every intention of doing it before I left, and just didn't. So now I'm back, and I have no further excuses, so I will do it.
Unfortunately, we've also established that everything
give us
says...
a deadline. You said you were going to do it before.
Yeah, we've also established earlier in this show that everything that Euripides says is a lie. So, it's, you got to take this with a grain of salt here.
Well, there's a difference between a lie and a falsehood. A falsehood could be, innocently given. A lie is when I tell people about Frostheim's height or Canadian law or history or moose or whatever.
AKA being Canadian.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Oh my God!
What?
What if Euripides isn't even Canadian?
Oh, that's right.
Oh well, I'm getting my Swiss citizenship, so I'd be half Canadian, half Swiss.
Why are you getting a Swiss citizenship?
If I don't get it, my kids will never have the option.
So?
Okay.
Well, my mom is Swiss, and if they
Okay. See, that's a better answer. I'm like, why are you getting at that point? Like, why aren't you getting a citizenship everywhere? So
No,
my
no, you
kids can
can't.
in case they
It's
want to.
it's only passed down in the family. You can live and I think even vote in Switzerland without being a citizen. But if you want to have an actual citizenship, you have to be Swiss, as in your family has to be from Switzerland and have
I
always
see.
been in Switzerland.
So you have like some kind of time limit or something?
Generation limit. My mom got hers. My mom was born there, but lived here long enough that she let it lapse because she didn't marry a Swiss. And then mine. So she had to get hers so that my sister, who now lives and works in Switzerland, could get hers. And I'm going to do the same in case my kids ever want to get a citizenship in Switzerland.
Sure. So what kind of Swiss was your mom? What language did she speak?
German.
Okay, because I was talking to, so at BlizzCon, I don't remember which one. At some BlizzCon, I was talking to Legs, who's the machinimator who did stuff like Ulduar. She did a bunch of stuff with Cranius and some stuff on her own. And her machine was amazing. So I was hanging out and drinking with Legs, and she's from Switzerland, and she was talking about how it's this tiny little country, but in different places of the country they speak different languages.
Oh yeah, sure. My sister works in the French area, but she lives in the German area, and it's a small enough country that you can drive across in a day. Basically, is the way I get it. But they all use trains and stuff to get around.
But yeah, so Legs was talking about how she was so disappointed that she grew up in the German-speaking area because now she has a German accent, whereas if she had grown up in the French area, then she'd have a sexy French accent.
I suppose that you could kind of characterize it that way. There's a far fewer French speakers in Switzerland than there are Germans, that's for sure. But even then, the German that they speak, I can understand the French that they speak in Switzerland. I have a lot of trouble understanding the German, and not just because my German is a heck of a lot rustier than my French. It's also because they don't even call it German; they call it Swiss German, and it's got its own. It's like,
is it like Swiss cheese?
It's like German with holes in it.
Yeah.
I think you need to drink more.
Euripides is not drinking.
Yeah,
I know.
Not today.
I know.
Well, when my wife gets home, I'll go get hammered in memory of this episode. All the times that I missed.
Liar.
I do have a drinking question that came up, though, is people want to know, what are you guys drinking?
Bloody Mary.
As is my habit, I'm drinking a strange mixture of things. So I'm drinking vodka and beer. And
Ew.
Yeah.
Hey, it's better than that what the hell was it? That's Hunter
Margarita?
whiskey. That horrible Hunter whiskey stuff.
Oh, that stuff was amazingly disgusting.
yeah,
that
it
was
was
like
bad.
so
That was
disgusting. I
awful.
almost wrote a friend about it. I was
It
like,
was-
man, you wouldn't believe how bad this whiskey was.
No, and actually the funny thing is it was so amazingly bad. And that it was so amazingly bad that every time, somebody came over and I was like, oh, dude, you have to try this. It's awful. However, which is like a remarkable thing with just people in general, right? If something tastes really bad or smells really bad,
Yeah.
you really want, like, oh my God, smell this.
You
have
gotta
to
try
share
this.
it. You have to share it with somebody else because it's
Right.
just so outstanding. You're just like, this is incredible how bad this smells. You gotta check this out.
Yeah,
It's
so
like it's so bad that it's inverted. It's like good now. It's like you have to try this. It's just
it's like
foul.
it's so bad it's hipster.
It's called Good Bad Good. Hello.
Huh. So, but no, so the Hunter whiskey did not make the move. But so I'm trying various random local microbrews, which we're slowly going through and trying to figure out what we want. And so I just finished some kind of IPA. I don't know what it was, but I'm now drinking Smutty Nose Old Brown Dog Ale.
Whoa.
Okay.
You guys have really cool names for your microbrews. Americans do microbrews pretty well, actually.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That was the one thing when I traveled to the States for the first time. I had a beer. I was expecting like a 3% watered down Bud or something, I was expecting that was all I was going to find on the menu. But no, they actually had, I was at a restaurant. They had some really interesting microbrews that were just normal 6%. It was just a good beer. I was really not expecting that at all.
I
Yeah,
like how-
microbrews are good.
I like how Canadians have they are like, oh yeah, that's their stereotype about America. Oh yeah, they're gonna have shitty beer.
Well, you do have shitty beer.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say,
you
to
guys
be-
drink
to
a
be-
lot more shitty beer than we do.
Yeah, I was going to say, to be fair, the largest volume of beer that's drunk in the U.S. is just horrible, right?
Sure.
It's your your Coors, your Miller, your Bud, your...
Says cheap.
Well, hold
It's-
on. Which of those guys is the one that just bought Molson? I think it was Coors.
I have no idea.
Was it?
Oh, I hope it wasn't one of us. Really? I didn't
No,
hear
no,
that.
no.
I like
Hold
Molson
on.
actually. That's a pretty good beer.
It was a company that was they only have one factory, and it's like in the mountains, and it uses a specific spring that they've always used, and they refuse to move their production to increase the volume. I forget what.
That sounds
company
like
it was.
Coors.
That does sound. So that's something.
Yeah.
Even though, that's the kind of thing that even though when you buy Coors in the States, it's like 3 or 4% or whatever the maximum is down there. That's the kind of thing that I actually admire about that beer company in particular. And I was going to say, of all the companies that could buy Molson, that was the one that did the least damage, I think.
Maybe. Coors is really, really bad beer, though.
Not up here. Up here, I mean, they've got stupid stuff like lime, like.
I know, compared to
Limeritas or
Canadian beer, sure.
I'm being followed. I'm trying to walk through rooms that she's not in, giggling and hitting things.
Well, I
but
think we're
she's
going to have
following.
to call that being interrupted by real life, and that's...
Oh, that.
Yeah.
and I just tripped
I
over something
think we're
too.
drinking to children.
Yeah, did you hurt yourself, Yuri?
It is amazing how much Euripides' children make me drink.
I wonder how much they make him drink.
Actually, not that much. Well, when I'm on call at work, I'm not allowed to drink at all. But
He's like, not that much. Not
not that much.
sometimes,
Not that
yeah.
much. But yeah, no. Every so often, I just go and hammer back a fifth of something or other. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, the American beer, like you know what it is? Coors, when they serve it up here, is actually about as good as like Molson X was the example you used. Molson X is actually one of those sort of hit or miss up here. Some people hate it. Molson Dry is pretty popular. There's Sleeman, which is not really a microbrew, but it's like a premium local brew. Have you guys ever tried Sleeman? Do they even have that down there?
I don't know, man. You're like speaking Canadian to me. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
Canadian beer brands.
Yeah, all I hear is A.
Hey?
Eh,
Hey?
eh,
Okay.
Dougie, eh?
eh.
Bunch of
So,
hosers.
okay, I can't... Oh, God damn it. God damn
Oh,
it.
by the way, do you know what a hoser actually is?
Canadian.
When Alessandro throws you off the side of a dam.
And
No, a
then
hoser is
pees
a
on you.
person. You call somebody a hoser if you're making fun of them. A hoser was the person who was responsible for hosing off the outdoor ice rinks. I only learned that, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago.
You're a liar.
No,
Yeah,
this one is... Wait,
Established this.
No, there's those
We
monkeys
established
in
that.
Missa Pandaria that they entered for the horde.
no, that's hosin. Hosin. A hoser. If you're in Canada, the stereotypical insult is to call somebody a hoser. I actually was called a hoser when I was a kid. I did,
Wait,
that's just-
really?
Yeah, for sure. If I had somebody who was making fun of me, they could call me an asshole or a hoser. I don't know. I could go either way.
How old are you?
31.
Okay.
Okay, oh, hey, that reminds me of a funny story. This is...
I was curious. That's interesting. I think I'm gonna call people hosers today.
You should.
Like in an elevator, I'm just gonna turn to someone and be like, "Fuck
You're
it."
such a hoser. Oh, that'd be so good. You could start doing that, and then it would become cool, and then you'd be by extension a hipster for being one of the people that did it before it was cool.
I mean, yeah, because I'd be bringing something back.
That's
from
right.
Yeah.
Back not just timeline wise, but also from a different geography, right?
I'm either
also-
I'm either hipster or Canadian. That should be a game. Canadian or hipster.
How can you tell?
Yeah.
We all have beards, even the women. We all have plaid shirts. Record players, because CDs are still illegal in Canada, and MP3 players are usually unreliable with the lack of power. And
There's no way your technology is that far behind where an MP3 player is like not okay.
actually, okay, most of what I say is
That's
just
not
nonsense. But one thing that is true is that we actually have something called a media levy. The government charges us a levy on MP3 players and CDs in order to pay the Recording Industry Association of Canada so that they can't sue us. So if you ever want to buy expensive blank CDs, you can buy them in Canada.
Wait, how does this keep Canada from getting sued?
No, it keeps individual Canadians from getting sued by the recording industry. Like, you remember how you guys had all those lawsuits down there, and the recording industry was just being like, well, if we can't make money, you can all go to jail.
No, there was not going to jail. It was civil lawsuits. It was if
Whatever.
if you won't
It's
buy us, we'll sue
American
you.
silliness. And up here, they can't do that because of the media levy.
It's not silliness. You have to earn a living, and suing is how you do it in America.
So who did you sue to get your paycheck?
What was that?
Who do you sue to get your paycheck?
Your mom.
Yeah, damn right.
We should include mother jokes on the drinking game.
Hey, guys, I'm level 24. Do you think I should reforge anything?
Hey, hold on.
Okay,
Hey,
that's
which one
There's
is
a
that?
reforging mount up. I'm just wondering if maybe I could, increase my haste or expertise.
Oh, well, I would actually recommend crit, and that is a question with an answer about secondary stats, including the forging.
Frank.
That is a whenever a question.
Yeah.
Oh, we could do this a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
I
I'm
think
up
it was
in the
supposed to be
ante
it was supposed to be a
guys.
reader question. But so, I've been investigating our Twitter accounts,
Okay.
and there's a tool that I use for some stuff at work that will give your social authority of your Twitter account.
Is mine negative?
It
What
is
does that
not.
mean? Social authority.
It means how
It
likely
determines-
something. Let me guess. Oh, you just say it.
No, go ahead. I want
Well, I
to
was
hear
gonna
your
say,
guess.
like how likely something that you say is to be either accepted or retweeted or whatever. Of course, everything I say is immediately dismissed as a Canadian lie. So it's
Yeah,
whatever it is times -1 is what mine is.
Yeah, it's a way of measuring your social reach, right? Because rather than just counting number of followers, because there's so many different ways that people bloat follower counts these days. I mean, ignoring the fact that you can just buy followers, but through fan gating and stuff. So it's a way to determine, like, okay, well, what is their actual engagement via their Twitter account? So it's a scale from 1 to 100, and it's kind of a logarithmic scale, right? Not a linear scale. So let's see here. So
Isn't this what Clout does?
Cloud is just fucking weird. I don't understand
Clout's a
what
circle
Cloud does.
jerk. It's a circle
Yeah.
jerk.
Like
Cloud-
Reddit, they actually have a subreddit called. Pretty funny.
I'm sure. But no,
Clout
so
is one of the dumbest things
yeah.
ever. So I'm glad there's something else.
yeah, no, Cloud Score is really, really
Stupid.
dumb and pointless. So
No.
the and the metrics that they use for this are decent, but it only works for Twitter. So let's see. Dark Brew has a social authority of 25.
Is that good or bad? That seems low. Like, I think you'd want your thing to be like
It's-
the billions or something.
Well, it's 1 to 100, so you
Yeah.
can't be in the billions. And like I said, it's a logarithmic scale. It's incredibly difficult to reach the top. I think actually there's very few people at 100, one of whom is Justin Bieber.
Oh God. Oh, speaking of which, he's one Canadian that you guys can keep. We're sorry. Collectively, we're sorry.
Unfortunately, we're giving him back. So
Yeah, if you were really
We don't-
sorry, you wouldn't make us keep him.
Eventually he'll grow up and turn into an adult. Can you imagine what kind of adult that's going to be?
I don't imagine that much different.
Is he going to be? Is he? Like I look back on the dumb things I did when I was 19, and I'm like, man, I should go and apologize to people sometime. I wonder how many people he's going to have to do that for, or whether that's ever going to happen.
It's
I'm
never
glad
gonna
that you
happen.
wonder so much about Justin Bieber. Do you think we should add that to a drinking game, that he wonders about Justin Bieber?
Well, it actually comes up a lot in Canada. People talk about him all the time. It's like we don't have that many celebrities, so it's either Justin Bieber or Rita McNeil, really.
Who's that?
Celine Dion.
Celine Dion, yeah, that's true. But isn't she an American now?
She's
don't
in
know.
Las Vegas, so I don't like anybody claims that.
Yeah.
So he has like the highest social authority in Canada, is what you're saying.
He's one of the highest social authorities of any Twitter account.
Well, that's
So let's
cute.
see. So Euripides has a social authority of 34.
Now, when you say it's a logarithmic scale, that means it's like a hockey stick? Like a
Yes.
logarithmic hockey stick?
It's exactly like a hockey stick.
Very nice.
So I have a social authority of 41. And actually, this is the first interesting one. So I have a social authority of 41. Euripides has 34, but Euripides has more followers than me.
Well, that's because I buy
Really?
them. Oh, I buy them in bulk.
And my followers are just more. My followers are more engaged.
Yeah, my followers are all pseudonyms.
Standing at the mailbox, like downloading your auctions.
That's right. Yes.
So, and Michele Morrow has a social authority of 49.
Very
Alright.
nice.
Woohoo!
And,
Huge.
and Michelle has like more than twice the followers of either of us.
You know what you could all say to your friends in real life? You could say you're a big deal in Canada, and it'll be true. There's not that many of us up here, and most of us like and know you. So
You know what? You know what's an awesome Canadian?
what's that?
Nathan Fillion.
Oh, is
Oh.
he Canadian?
Yes.
Oh my God. Okay, so Canada, you do have something to
Captain
brag
Mal.
about.
They have produced Captain Mal for us, so
I
we have to
know.
thank him for that.
Isn't he going to be the new young Han Solo for the new movies?
Oh God, don't make me that excited, please God, no. Please don't
Is
make
he?
me.
I have to admit,
That would be
I'm
awesome.
I'm not
No,
placing this guy.
yes, it would, and Michelle would have a hard time sleeping, or maybe I'd want to sleep all the time to dream about him.
Hold on, I'm still having trouble catching this. Nathan Fillion, that's a name I'm vaguely familiar with.
Firefly.
Where was he
Yeah.
from, though?
Firefly.
Canada.
No, but where in Canada?
I don't know. One of those province-y things you guys got? He's from one of
IMDb.
those. He's from Canada somewhere. Oh, I got to meet him at Comic-Con, and it was the coolest thing.
Well, we probably
Chat
crossed
room.
paths at some
Tell
point,
us.
you know.
Tell us. Give us your wisdom.
Edmonton, Alberta.
Oh, Edmonton. Oh, Nathan from
Hey.
Edmonton, of course. Yeah, I know Nathan.
Edmonton.
Chat
I'm
room
kidding,
wants
of
to
course.
know Shatner is Canadian.
Yes, of course he is. I know Will.
We got some big nerds up there in Canada, like
Oh,
good
yeah.
ones, strong
Oh,
ones.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
You've got Shatner, and you've got two major starship captains from different franchises, but like those are two of the greatest starship captains ever. Captain Mal and
Kirk.
Kirk.
Yeah.
I was trying to say Tiberius. I was going to say Tiberius, and I wanted to say Tyrannosaurus because I'm drunk.
Awesome.
Tyrannosaurus Kirk.
Tyrannosaurus Kirk.
Captain Tyrannosaurus Kirk.
That
Yeah.
kind of works. I think I have a new name
Chubby?
for my pets.
Oh.
No, dude.
That's actually an
Chat
awesome
room.
pet name.
Chat room
Captain.
also wants to know. Here's a question for the team. What buttons would you get rid of, and what buttons would you keep? That's from Immortal Scott.
Oh, that's an actual question.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
What
Okay,
buttons
here-
would I get rid of?
Okay, here's what I would do. Number one is I would dump arcane shot. I like the idea of giving each spec its own focus dump. So rather than everybody has arcane shot, right? Screw that shit. No, not everybody has arcane shot. There's a different one for each spec. Semicolon,
Yeah.
however, comma. At the same time, there is no reason to have steady shot for one spec and Cobra for two. Dude, one focus regen shot. That's all we need. Make one focus regen shot. That's common to all the specs. But then each spec has its own signature shot, and each spec has its own focus dump. At that point, I would totally effing get rid of almost every. I would make it so talents only give you one DPS button.
So you
Right.
got like maybe 4 or 5 extra buttons that you could press on a fairly long cooldown.
Right. No, I'm saying that, from our talents, rather than having, your Dire Beast and your Blink Strike and your Glaive Toss, like no. Just one of those is a DPS rotational button, and I don't. Maybe one of them is a once a fight button. DPS.
And
That's
the other
fine.
one could be passive or something.
Right. And the other one can be something passive, because I feel like 3 buttons isn't enough. Even though we have rapid shot, and BM has everybody has something else, right? BM's got big red pad, marksmanship has aim shot going on, survival has black arrow going on, but I still think you need one other rotational button, and then just one of those through talents, one long term one through talents, and then everything else should either be passive or non-DPS related. And I think what might be more interesting than just throwing more and more buttons in is finding more interesting interactions between the buttons, right? And So rather than just like, yes, when this button's available, you push it. It might be more interesting if like, oh no, you need to push it at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
And there's interesting interactions between this button and that other button. I think that's a more interesting way to go. So I would totally get rid of 2 of those talent tiers of buttons.
I actually think that's a really good idea, though, to
yes.
have one as a signature shot and one as a focus stomp. Like, I really like that just as a concept between the different classes. I think I think that would just be a little. It would give. Because especially with classes like us that have, we're just DPS. We are 3 DPS specs.
Mm-hmm.
To be able to differentiate them enough in order for me to say, yeah, I'll play Marksman this week because it has these things that are special and important. I will play Beastmaster because of these ones. Like, it's right now it just kind of, even though they do have their different things, they all kind of just feel like we do the same DPS pretty much in the same way.
Yeah, and the animations aren't that varied, so when you fire an explosive shot, it doesn't look that much different than, firing a Chimera shot. So that's part of it. But I agree, like things like Beast Mastery, I mean, I'd love to see them do some crazy things, like maybe allow us to have like dual wielding pets, so to speak, and then make all your abilities be like pet commands, like kill command, and kind of work that
angle. I was talking about this on Twitter with my engaged followers. I'm trying to remember what it was, because somebody had one that I really liked, and damned if I remember what it was. But yeah, somebody was like, oh yeah, so instead of Arcane Shot, BM should have this maul. Although somebody else had a great suggestion that they should have like Honey Badger. Like BM whips out a Honey Badger and throws it at your face.
How many of
That would
those
be
do you
sweet.
carry around?
But yeah, I'd love to see him do things like that, and I'd even suggest, we always wanted to like have dual wielding guns, so maybe make Survival like a dual wielding one with pistols, and maybe make it a little bit shorter range or something, and more AOE and dot oriented, or just something to differentiate,
Yeah, I would buy into Survival being AOE, maybe even short. Yeah, I like short range AOE as a good a good compromise.
Or just short range damage. Period. Maybe not full melee, but in that range or something. I don't know.
And what I'd like to see is the other.
That's
two.
it. Oh, okay. The Twitter follower was Disembowel.
Sounds like a PvPer.
You could make marksman just be like the longest range of it, and maybe get rid of some of their mobility, but make all their damage abilities hit really hard or something. Give them some burst or more of like a turret type class.
Except you got to keep in mind that everybody's got to be capable of outputting the same sustained DPS.
Yes, this is true.
I think what might make sense is to have, if Survival is definitely AOE, possibly short range dots. What they could do is make one of the other 2 specs, the other PvP spec, which is single target, the way it is now, and then have the 3rd spec where they don't balance it around PvE, they balance it for PvP. And then just have that one be the go-to for PvP. That way, because, when you're...
Honestly, I wouldn't mind if they went back to the old days, where there was a PvE spec, there was a PvP spec, and there was a soloing spec.
Yeah, I kind of, to be honest, like that as well, because... I mean, look, there's a tank spec, a heal spec, and a DPS spec for, like paladins or druids or whatever. Like, they've got 3 specific things. Like, for us, I do kind of like the idea of having one as solo, one as raiding, one as PvP. Like, I know we like the variation and being able to switch it up, and that is kind of the excitement about playing a class that you have 3 different kinds of DPS specs that you could play around with. But it almost sort of dilutes our power in some ways.
Yeah, and
another thing they could do is make each individual spec have more customization. Because one of the things people say is, I love being able to switch from BM to SV for different fights that have different mechanics.
Sure.
This one BM does really well, and this other one Survival does really well.
Absolutely.
What I'd like is to have our PvE spec have talents that could make it sort of the same kind of feel, where you're switching around your talents before each fight. But in the end, you've got the same basic mechanics. Although I wouldn't be against the idea of having 2 PvE specs, because to be honest, hunters are really mostly about PvE.
Mm-hmm.
Have 2 PvE specs, one for AoE and one for boss DPS, and that way you can kind of decide what role you want to fit in. Do you want to fit in a mop-up role, or do you want to fit into a heavy hitter, on the boss all the time role?
Yeah, I think it's from a design perspective, however, I think going back to something like that, it's a little cat's out of the bag situation, where once they actually made it so like, hey, guess what? You can play other specs in PvE. You can go to raid with BM or SV. Suddenly now you have more than you ever did in vanilla. People are like, I'm a huge SV fan, or I'm a huge BM fan, or no, I only want to play MM. And so now you piss off like 2/3 of the player base by saying, oh, guess what? Your spec is now only for PvP.
Yeah, that's true.
It's similar to arenas, right? I feel like they did a little F up that I think they regret in arenas. Like, I think they're like, yeah, we should have never made 2v2. That should never have been a thing, and we can't take it back now.
No, and people spend a huge amount of time on it because of how easy it is to organize. Like, I just, saw some guy in trade looking for twos for cabs, and we just went for like 3 hours. That's the kind. Although I think now that they're changing the PvP
And it
system,
took you, and it was like that. How long did you guys do arena for?
What do you mean? Oh, we did for 3 hours.
So like that was 2 arena matches.
No, we were really kicking butt. We went through them pretty fast. I think we won like 75% of the games we played, and we were up against like because your MMR follows you from season to season. So mine's up at about 1600 right now. So I wasn't even playing. I mean, I shouldn't say up at about. For somebody who doesn't PvP in our arena very often, that's pretty high. And we were playing against teams who were pretty good. I mean, if we weren't playing a gimmicky burst twos, we probably would have lost a lot.
Oh.
But I like what they're doing with the new system where I think you're going to be able to, you don't even have to be in a team. You don't have to know anybody on your server. You can just queue up for a rated arena battle and you get assigned a random partner or something like that. I haven't found the notes, but I remember talking to someone about it.
Yeah, I think, I know, I kind of like the idea though. Like, imagine if you went back to, and of course I instinctively harken back to vanilla days, right? Where it's like, okay, so let's imagine BM is your solo spec, and MM is your raid spec, and PvP, and SV is your PvP spec. So SV has whatever the hell it is PvP cares about. We don't really care. So then MM, I really like Euripides' idea that MM is then structured in a way that you can respec your MM spec for different roles. Like, ooh, now I'm going to go to more of the AoE heavy MM spec. Oh, now I'm going to go to the more mobile version of the MM spec. And then BM for your soloing, imagine it has a similar flexibility where it's got stuff that's like, crazy focus regen and nice self heals and stuff, but then there's a version of the BM spec. Where you literally merge into your pet to become a badass BM tank.
Oh my god! Yes, I love that, dude. You could become a Sporbat.
I know, right?
Oh, who was reading the rules just there and playing that sentence out? Okay, hold on. Once
That sounds like that would be us like using our pet as a mount, though.
Once for each HPP running gag. Sporbats! Okay, well, there you go.
All right.
I think we've hit everything except Dark Brew's amazing rare teams.
I haven't tamed anything rare in a long time, though. So.
And there it is! Drink again!
Okay, so I think we should hurry up and do our outro.
Yes.
So
Hold
we can
on.
do the post
Chat room
show.
has a few suggestions here.
Oh, excellent. So what does the chat room have to suggest?
Aspect of the tank. I like that one.
The tank. Yeah.
Oh, I lost him now. They're scrolling through so much. Yeah, I did like aspect of the tank, though. That was Liger Wolf.
That's cool. I like that.
You have been listening to episode 181 of the Hunting Party Podcast.
Oh, did somebody
Not
just
Euripides
steal my
from
line?
HuntingPS.com, WoW Insider, and the Call to Auction. Wait, there's a Call to Auction podcast?
Oh,
I haven't
yeah,
heard of this
right.
thing.
Okay, well, I
so-
think we're going to have to call that screwing up the outro.
I
Yeah.
think, yeah, that means
More or less, yeah.
somebody has to drink the stolen line. I
That's
was
not
sitting there
screwing it
waiting-
up. That's ninjaing it.
Ninjaing
Oh,
it, right.
dang.
And that is explicitly mentioned as a listener drink, I believe. And
What? Yeah, what? When you screw up somebody else's line, though.
no, I think that includes stealing lines from each other. It's the whole principle of.
I think that's like 2 drinks. I mean, we're at the end. That's pretty much 2 drinks.
Well, we're gonna keep. I think we're gonna keep going in the post.
We are going to keep going, but I am not going to be able to go. I got about 20 minutes left.
Okay. That's
Then I got to get on
20 minutes left for Frost, guys. Set the clocks. It's a 20-minute countdown.
It is a very sad countdown.
awesome. That said, you have been listening to episode 181 of the Hunting Party Podcast, the farewell Frostheim bonanza. This is Euripides, remote DPS, WoW Insider, and sometimes called to auction.
Lies.
Dark Brew from thebrewhall.com and the Brew Hall on Twitter.
And this is Frostheim from just nothing much anymore.
He didn't have his Twitter account now. In the amount of time we started the show, his Twitter account's even gone.
It's Frostheim from Boston.
There
Yeah.
you go.
And I'm Alessandra from the Hunting Party Podcast at Loch Modan.
You can check us out on iTunes, YouTube, Stitcher, and we have an RSS feed in the show notes.
Don't use Stitcher.
And if you like us, please don't be shy about leaving us a review on iTunes or YouTube. And for the very last time, leave a review where you mention how uncommonly good-looking Frostheim is.
I'll buy that today.
Aww. You can submit a title for this week's show, but we already have one chosen, so. And we will mangle your name on air like professionals. Something like that.
All right, stay thirsty, my friends. Remember to drink your dark brew lager.
And remember to spay and neuter your Euripides.
Oh! Ouch! But ow, you're vicious.
For the Horde.
And don't forget to pay your dues.
And that's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
That was my
Wow.
last time delivering that line.
So you say. Although we should take, we'll start taking odds next show. When do you think Frostheim will make his triumphant
Yeah.
return?
The new expansion, then he's got things to say. He's going to have things to say.
Oh, Frostheim's
You're
always
going
got
to be
things
our
to say.
Lewis Black now, Frostheim.
Who's
So
that?
you feel a rant coming on?
Yeah.
You just record it for like, I don't know, a minute or two, send it in.
That's true, right? A lot of shows do that. They have people sending in little rants.
Mm-hmm.
I know. You guys should totally do that.
Yeah, we probably should.
No, anytime you have something, Frost, where you're just like, it just strikes you, you could just like record it real fast and then send it in, and then everyone would be like, and here is a Frost rant.
Maybe we'll just start doing it without him saying anything. We'll just be like, we'll go and record, like, chop up, like, well, never mind. I'm gonna save this.
I have to say, I am very fond of. There's several people here at Loch Modan wearing the Frostheim cloak.
Aw.
Aw.
Aww.
Well, it's not going to be the same without you, that's for damn sure. But we had a good run while it was going, and a good time. If I'm ever in Boston, I guess I'll come by and demand a free drink in lieu of my friendship bracelet, which has not been delivered.
Yeah.
Hey, patch 5.4 hasn't come out yet.
Semantics.
Rules.
Okay, and my kids are starting to get into a fight or something.
Drink.
Yeah.
I think the podcast rules are over.
We're in the
Maybe
post
not.
show.
No, that's not true. We're still doing the
We're
post show
still
here.
recording.
It still counts.
All right. Well, Frost is around for another 20 minutes. I'm gonna go
Okay.
ahead and.
Well,
Take
I
your-
think. Okay, fair enough. Go ahead and do that. I think we need to say that there was an email that I just looked at now, or looked at the first line of. I don't know what the rest of it says, which is awesome. So Farah sent in an email saying, I was sad to hear Frostheim's answer to the episode 178 question. If you'll recall, in episode 178, the question was, what would you give up to get readiness back? And Frostheim's answer was blogging. Then she says, I've been listening to the Hunting Party podcast since episode 15. Frostheim has always been a huge part. But as a hunter who has mostly retired for real-life reasons, I understand and wish him the best. Can Arth certify Frostheim as the first hunter to have paid his dues in full for lifetime membership? Maybe we should leave that one up for Arth to answer, because I have a feeling the answer will be no.
Well, who knows? Yeah, but I mean, if there's anyone who's paid their dues, it would certainly be you over these years. I mean, you've done. I mean, what you've done for the hunter community, I think, has really been amazing, and can't overstate it. That's for sure.
Aw.
I agree.
Sorry, did I break the show?
Everyone's crying.
Oh no.
Yeah.
You guys, it's like a wake. It's a celebration. I mean, look at all Frostheim has achieved. He's talked to Ghostcrawler in private when I first met you. I remember like talking to you, and then somebody said to you, "Hey, Ghostcrawler wants to talk to you," and you were like, "I'll be right back." Just like, and I was like, "That's awesome." He was so excited. He was like beaming, and he like went and talked to him for a little bit. So stoked.
Yeah, no, and there was a lot of awesome things over the years. It's and it's funny because particularly in the course of like the first year of blogging on the WHU, it's and sometimes talk to Arst or think about like, oh, it would be cool if someday we could do this. Oh, it would be cool if so. I think anything I could have ever possibly imagined, we eventually did, up to and including the All Hunter raid on Orgrimmar, and wiping out Orgrimmar.
That was good.
The original Siege of Orgrimmar.
That's right. You know what? And I have to say, the WHU went and killed Cairn, and what happened? He was dead in game. WHLU went and killed Garrosh, and Garrosh is going to die.
That's right.
But we never did get Sylvanas.
No.
No.
No, it turns out going to attack another hunter was a bad idea.
Especially down a long, straight corridor.
It didn't matter, man. Those multi-shots were going through walls to kill everyone.
God, that was satisfying when I heard about that. I'm like, you guys are doing what? So like my Twitter like blew up suddenly. I was like, huh? And I looked down and I'm like, oh my God, she's killing them all.
That was funny. We're like, winding our way through the hallways on our big epic march. Then my phone goes off. I got a text message from Michele like, what the fuck are you doing?
She knew.
I'm like, well, that's what happens. You weren't here, so.
We're going to kill her. But she turned it around on you. I'm really curious to see, man, what's going to happen in this next patch and the next expansion as to where Sylvanas will shake out.
Yeah.
Being that she's like such a big hunter for us, really. I'm curious as to where she's going to end up. My prediction is that Vol'jin will be, the war chief, unless we've already figured that out from PTR.
Who's Vol'jin?
He's the troll leader.
I think he'll be war chief.
Yeah, that would make sense. I don't think, and they haven't. I don't think anyone's data mined anything to that extent. And I think Ghostcrawler's come out and said we won't know by the end of this expansion. So that is something that will play out, moving forward and whatever the next expansion is.
Yeah, it's it's interesting. You Hordy, all your shakeups. We Alliance got it simple.
Well, it'll be interesting to kind of see what's going to go on, because I'm sure the Alliance will have it. This is going to play a big part in this. It's the Horde and the Alliance having to do something. I'm very curious as to how their Thrall's going to come back into it at all. Like, what's going to happen with Garrosh? I'm kind of curious about what the next expansion will be. And I'm
very curious about the next expansion.
Yeah, what's that going to be? What do you think for us?
I have no idea. There's things that people have been wanting for a long time, but I feel like Blizzard, kind of has their plan one expansion in advance anyway. I know a lot of people have been really big on getting the Emerald Dream expansion, but it's, I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. Are they going to, I have no clue.
I don't think it'll be the Emerald Dream, although I think maybe they'll start going revisit the Burning Legion again. I
think that's like a big piece of lore that they have a lot more room to explore.
Yeah.
What I'd like to do is something through the Caverns of Time, where we spend the entire expansion fighting something in the past. Yeah, because we already did the future with Deathwing.
That would be. That would be funny. An entire expansion was in the past, and it's like, and the level cap is 60. Oh God!
Well, how far in the past? Yeah, that would be great. You'd go the Caverns of Time, and you're just nerfed completely. You're just like, no, you have to take Horde or human form, one of them. And...
Well, they do want to change our damage because our damage is way too high. So what better way to nerf us
than to throw us in the past?
That would be awesome. Actually, nerf us by having us go back in time, and so it's like, oh, you used to do 100,000 DPS, and now
How
you do
far? How
a hun-
far back though?
now you do
Like
100 DPS.
in time? Where in the timeline?
Well, if they did go back in time, it would have to be before the start of World of Warcraft, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, there's plenty of like the elves and the Sundering and all that, and
Oh yeah,
Orcs
that,
weren't
that could be
here
their new race. Their new race could be like high elves or something.
Yeah. Or
Naga.
yeah. Oh gosh, yeah.
And nobody
Yeah,
wants
the
to be a
Naga.
Go
Nog.
back, I guess that you'd be dealing with Shara and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, lots of people would love to go against Asara.
Of course, the problem with going in the past is the outcome basically has to be predestined.
Well, that's fine. Ashara lost.
Unless-
Perfect.
I mean, unless they were really going to go crazy, and I don't think that there's any way they could do this for practical reasons, but what would be awesome is if you had a whole expansion where you had to go back in time, okay, and your whole point was to change something critical in the past. At the end of the expansion, you succeeded in changing it, and suddenly it changed everything in the game.
Ooh.
It's like, oh, guess what? There was no, Arthas was never the Lich King.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like Mass Effect, and everybody wants to kill each. Everyone wants to flip out.
Yeah, it might
You're like you have like Fem Arthas somewhere.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
changed Deathwing because I don't like the world being destroyed.
You know,
I loved that. I know everybody's got this thing with Cataclysm. I really actually enjoyed the fact that they destroyed the whole face of the way. I think the way our terrain looks. I think that we needed that a little bit of shake up where it's a little bit familiar and a little bit new. I like when it's a little bit of both. When you get me like so far out, as much as I do love Pandaria for very many reasons, like sometimes it almost feels like things are so different. Everything's
So
different.
peaceful.
It's hard to keep it all in.
No,
Yeah,
I'm
it's just
kind of-
it's hard to keep everybody sort of straight. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
all the names and the fights. I just kind of
Mm-hmm.
just don't feel like it has that Warcraft excitement that you have with Horde versus Alliance, and that's why I'm excited for 5.4 because you finally we're going back to Orgrimmar and we're going back to Garrosh and we're going back to these things.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because we had to get a way to appreciate it or because I don't know.
Yeah, I think. I mean, I kind of understand where Alessandra's coming from, and I know that Ali, you were really unhappy with a lot of the bad changes that happened in Cataclysm. But the thing that I loved about it, and that honestly, I wish they did this every expansion. The greatest Cataclysm moment for me in the beta was going to Sentinel Hill and being like, oh, hey, look, they're actually made some progress. They got some walls up.
Exactly.
These people who are building this thing, so I kind of wish that every expansion they'd be like, oh yeah, we're going to go to every zone where there was a storyline, and we're not going to redo the entire old world every expansion, because obviously they can't do that, but we're going to go in every zone, we're going to just tweak a couple of quests, and we're going to tweak a couple of the graphics to be like, oh, this storyline has advanced a little bit.
Mm.
Like, I would love to see the Stone Rot Dam rebuilt.
Yes.
Yes.
I would like to see that too.
Definitely.
Only bigger and
It took them
better than
forever to
ever.
fix Stormwind.
But yeah, I'm just saying I would like it if every expansion they did a couple things that made you feel like the world was alive, rather than just the world gets bigger. But oh no, some of these quests that I completed, all these years ago, I can now see things are better now,
Right.
or worse, but they're advancing along the way of the story that I told, rather than it's forever frozen. And I wish that became a thing that they decided to regularly do in expansions, rather than just once in a blue moon when they have the Back to the Old World expansion, right?
Well, if done correctly, a Back to the Old World expansion can work if done correctly, then just creating a new continent. You know what I'm saying? Creating a new continent we've had a couple times, and they've been there, blah blah blah, whatever. But creating a new continent is one thing, but I don't know, maybe going to another. I personally I loved BC, and I loved going to Outlands. I personally love that expansion quite a bit. So if we could go somewhere else in that way, but still have the Warcraft feel, I think if they did it correctly, it can be done right. But it's careful. You have to be careful.
Yeah, and I think one of the ways that makes sense to do it, like if you were going to go on have this design philosophy of, hey, we're going to advance the world a little bit with each expansion in addition to whatever new thing we're doing. I think it's fine if you leave Outlands alone. It's fine if you leave Northrend alone, and it's fine if you leave Pandaria alone. But just come back to Azeroth and just advance all the stories just a wee little bit, not all of them, but in every zone pick a couple things that progress so you can see that the world is growing and existing and
living.
Yeah, exactly.
You gotta live. Like you've got to have it. And I think that's maybe the challenge of game development is because they have so much to work with, and the resources in which they have to pull people to fix those things and change those things or alter those things. I don't know. I mean, it's a lot to do. It's a lot.
Yeah.
And in this expansion, I will say that they added a lot of things in that they didn't before that I really like and appreciate. But at the same time, it's almost so much that they added in as far as UI and different things to do, like all these dailies and pet battles and everything. It's great, but for someone like me who is gone I was out of the game for like 7 months, to come back into that and to get all my, I don't even think I'm honored with Golden Lotus. I never even got to do that because I had to gear up so fast. I couldn't finish any of it. There's just so much to do that I'm like kind of chipping away here and there, and I can't like sort of grasp the full. I don't feel like I can immerse myself into the story the same way I could, even with Cataclysm.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. It's like, if you're not there playing every step of the way, you come back and it can be overwhelming with like, where do you pick up, where do you start, the legendary quest line. Is it even worth trying to do now at this point, or are you, beyond hope of ever completing that? It's just, there is a lot they did add this time around.
Which is good and bad. I mean, what I think that they did is they kind of lost the mid-core gamer. It's like, in a way, like
that's a good point.
You've got people who are the super elitists who play, or the super hardcore who play, and they've done the PTR and they do it, and so they've played and they're doing that, and they're doing all the high-end content, and they're finishing. And then you've got the casual players who can kind of ping in and pop in, and they don't really care so much about the lore, and they don't really care. So they're just like going to go kill some boars and like do an LFR and look, a pug or something, whatever. But then the mid-core gamer, like somebody like a lot of us, the majority of us, are kind of like, well, where do I put my efforts? Because I only have X amount of hours, because I have to work, or I have kids, or I have this, or I have that. And there's a lot for us to do in real life. So where do I balance that? Because it looks like I have to put a whole lot of time and effort if I want to catch up to being at a certain point in rating. But I also now am sort of grouped in a place with more casuals than I'd like to be.
Yeah. Okay, well, on that note, my time is now up.
Uh-oh.
No!
So for those of you...
Isn't this that time of year when we turn the clock back an hour?
So for those of you who are in-game in Loch Modan, I think it's time for us to do the final lemming leap off of the dam. Which... I'll go ahead and give that like a little bit for
Bella wants us to line up for a picture.
Delay. Oh yeah, Bella wants to get a picture. Of course, we have like a 20-30 second delay here between when we say something and when they hear it. All right, and here we go. The final leap of death. This was so much easier when there was actually water underneath of us.
Yes, it was. I missed the water.
Now it's like, splat, 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 splat.
Well, to be fair, there's always been a lot of splatting, but...
That's very true. All right, well, I have to take off, but it's been great, you guys, and I'm definitely very appreciative that you guys invited me onto the podcast in the first place some 4 years ago now. It's been good times.
It's been a pleasure for us too, and thank you for everything you've done. I mean, it was like a no-brainer. I said when we just when Euripides said, "Hey, should we offer Frost an opportunity to be a regular host?" And it was like, an easy decision for all of us, and the show is much better for it. So hopefully we can keep things going and make it still be as entertaining for everybody as it was, and we will. We'll keep going. But it has really been a pleasure, and I wish you the best of luck in everything that you choose to do from here on out.
All right, good deal. I will see you guys later. And don't forget to pay your dues.
Viper to cheetah to dragon hog. No time to waste, 'cause I can jump shot. BM, MM, and SB. I can rock out any tree. Never worried about my threat, 'cause I've got FD and misdirect. Catching loose mobs in my traps. I never miss, 'cause I am hit capped. 'Cause I'm the hunter, not the marked. I'm the fighter, not the spark. I'm the kiter, not the kite. I'll top the meters every fight. Made it in the cave, dealing death. Just me, my gun, and my trusty bed. Now let's begin with Illidan, Osirian, and Gil'jadan, Magdamar, Asgalor, Gruul, Cthulhu, and Razorgore, Onyxia to Ragnaros. Which one